and LOC2 for the first officer's ND. Deviation per dot is 1.25 degrees for the localizer. Magenta co-located DME reading is at the top left. When selecting LNAV as primary course source, course pointer and deviation bar are white, either GNLU 910 or GNSX, depending on your equipment status. Now provides course information, so the MCP course selector and the tune VHF nav frequencies have no effect. LNAV 1 or 2 at the top right indicates which unit provides navigational data. The deviation scale is 1 dot per 3.75 nautical miles track error for the GNSX, and depending on phase of flight, 5, 1, or 0.3 nautical miles for the GNLU 910. DME distance is replaced by distance to the next waypoint, shown at the top left. The second course button on the ECP displays secondary course information. It consists of a cyan pointer and deviation bar. Offside DME distance and deviation scale dots are not included. Second course navigation source is shown at the top right. Several presses of the second course button go through the possible selections. A final press removes the indication. Please press the second course button. ARC is selected via the format knob on the ECP. The presentation is the same as in ROSE format, but the forward 110 degrees are expanded as well as all course and bearing pointers. At the bottom of the display, there is a yellow aircraft symbol. The heading bug has a dotted cyan tail, so that you can see its bearing even if heading is set outside the visible arc. Weather radar information can be displayed in the ARC format if the WX dimming knob at the DP is turned clockwise through a detent. And valid weather radar data is available, which is selected at the Weather Radar Mode control panel. Weather radar tilt and mode information is shown at the left of the display. Radar range for the ND is controlled via the ECP range knob. A white range arc is displayed at half the selected range on the ND. Note that the range knob is dormant in the ARC format when weather radar is off. The map format offers the best picture of the horizontal navigational situation. An RJ aircraft symbol is shown at the bottom. Compass and heading bug presentation are as per ARC mode. Bearing and track diamond are presented as per ROSE and ARC mode. Now it is your turn. Set bearing to ADF and display wind speed and direction data on the ND. The half-range arc is visible in map mode, irrespective of weather radar selection. Set range to 40 nautical miles, and finally, primary course information to LNAV. Navigational information is shown differently from ROSE and ARC. With LNAV set as primary course, the active GNSX or GNLU 910, whichever is installed, flight plan is presented, and provided the aircraft is on track, the waypoints on the flight plan pass below the yellow RJ symbol. The active waypoint is presented as a magenta star and all other waypoints as white star. LNAV 1 or 2 is displayed at the top right and distance to next waypoint, here Kilo Lima Foxtrot, is shown at the top left as per ROSE and ARC. Weather radar information is shown in the same way as in ARC format. The horizontal position of the storm cells in relation to the intended flight path can be easily accessed in map format as both weather and LNAV track are displayed on the ND. With primary course set to VL, the active GNSX or GNLU 910 flight plan is not shown. Combined VOR DME stations are presented as green VOR TAC symbol on the ND at the correct relative bearing and distance. The solid green line is the selected course to the station, the dotted line from the station. As VOR is selected as bearing course, the pointer is aiming directly on the station symbol. If the station is outside the selected range, an arrow on the to from line if on the ND aims toward the station. The station is brought back on the ND by increasing the range. If a DME is not received, the display reverts to a pointer and deviation bar as per ARC format. Display of ILS information is always a magenta pointer and deviation bar, provided course is set to VL at the ECP. Glide slope is not shown on the ND, but on the PFD. VOR 1 or 2 with to or from, and the LOC 1 or 2 is presented at the top as in ROSE or ARC format. The second course button provides the same selections as per ROSE and ARC format. Second course information, even a completed LNAV flight path includes all waypoints, is always displayed in cyan. When VOR is selected as second course, the station symbol provided a DME is received and the to and from course lines are shown. If no DME is received, a course pointer and deviation bar is shown without deviation scale. With an ILS frequency tuned, irrespective of DME reception, a course pointer and deviation bar is always shown, also without deviation scale. Map format allows the use of the nav aid, airport, and ground reference point GRP. Keys on the ECP provided LNAV is used as a primary or secondary course. The keys are of the on-off type with a white light illuminating below the key when switched on. Any combination of these keys may be selected to display the following within the selected range. GRP displays the nearest ground reference points as a cyan triangle. ARPT displays the 10 nearest airports with a runway of 4,000 feet in length or more as a white circle. NAID displays the 10 nearest nav aids with their ICAO symbol and identifier in cyan. Here is a summary of the selectable symbols used in the map format. Plan, selected by the Format knob, is used during pre-flight planning and in-flight replanning. As a result, following navigational information is omitted: VOR and ILS pointer and deviation bar, bearing and second course information, weather radar, and data key information. Last but not least, the dotted cyan tail of the heading bug is removed. The compass arc is the same as in ARC and the map format, and also the track diamond is displayed. Range control works as in map format, but half range is displayed as full range circle in cyan. The route is displayed north up. Check the arrow on the right, with the active waypoint in the center of the half range circle. The RJ symbol indicates present position. You already know the content of the display top, range to the active waypoint, and LNAV 1 or 2 as selected. Nav aid, airport, and ground reference point keys are available as per map format. Again, this is only a format for planning purposes and should be used in flight only in exceptional cases. The Efis system provides warning of miscomparison between parameters presented on both pairs of Efis screens by a crosstalk bus. When a miscomparison is detected, an amber warning flag is displayed on both left and right Efis displays. To attract the flight crew's attention, there is an amber comparator master flight annunciator light beside each PFD. As soon as a warning comes up, each comparator master and warning in the Efis displays flash for 5 seconds before becoming steady. If an additional miscompare is then detected, the comparator master and the respective new warning in the displays flash again for 5 seconds before becoming steady. The relevant warning is removed when the miscompare condition ceases. The following information is monitored. Attitude, ATT, is displayed if a difference of 4 degrees or more in pitch or roll is detected. Heading, HDG, is displayed if a difference of 6 degrees plus 1/3 of actual bank or more in heading is detected. Speed, SPD, is displayed if a difference of 8 knots at low and 3 knots or more at high speed is detected. Radio altitude, RA, is displayed if the difference between both RAs is 10 feet or more. Localizer, LOC, is displayed on all screens if a minimum difference of 0.4 dots plus 0.25 average deviation is detected. Glide slope, GS, is displayed on all screens if a minimum difference of 0.53 dots plus 0.25 average deviation is detected. The miscomparison warning is often the first indication of an instrument or radio